Hi, I'm Kristen Prue and I'm going to speak about what we can do to prevent future pandemics. The title of the speech is Cancel Pandemic. I hope you all are doing well during this pandemic. Related to the main issue that we all mostly face now, which is about the COVID-19, let us talk about this pandemic. We all know that people around the world are facing the COVID-19 pandemic. It has never been predicted by anyone. What will happen if more than half of the world dies because of it? What happens if we get infected? What happens if our loved one dies because of it? As we all know, people are all trying hard to avoid getting infected. How do we do that? Now, people are doing lockdown, wear masks, or do social distancing. We do that together so we could all be safe. Everyone wonders, when will this end? Since it has been months, or almost a year, we stay at home. Try to think about all the fun and interesting things we can do when this is all over. We could have fun with friends, work or go to school like usual, go and have vacation or explore the world, and others. But have you think about the future? Have you think that pandemics may happen again? Have you think that these things may happen all over again? We will never know when it will come, but it is for sure the best if we prevent and prepare for it. No one wants to experience this, right? If we have a choice, we will avoid this, right? If you think that the future is always good, well, you're wrong. We can't let people forget about this, because the next one may be the worst. We could never know what happened, but we can make them. Try to remember this quote by Peter Drucker, which is, "We cannot predict the future, but we can create it." So please keep in mind that preventing future pandemics is possible. Now let's begin the main part of the speech. First of all, let us compare the flu pandemic in 1918 and the coronavirus. They both have some similarities. Both influenza and coronavirus transmitted through respiratory droplets. The thing they need to do to prevent is by doing social distancing. Both of them affect our respiratory system, and to prevent the droplets getting to us, we need to do social distancing and wear masks. One example of a country that have done social distancing is Japan. Most of them don't shake hands when they meet or greet people, but instead they bow. They also don't share their food to others. They are used to living clean and used to wash their hands regularly. They also wear masks if they are sick, so they don't transmit the virus to others. I've heard those things from my mother. She works in a Japanese company and she told me about their lifestyle. Although because Japan's main transportation is mass train, they cannot fully avoid the virus transmission. COVID-19 is not the only deadly disease. There are also diseases called Ebola, SARS, Zika, HIV or AIDS, and West Nile fever. Those diseases are also stated to have some things in common with the coronavirus when they emerge in different parts of the world. Scientists call them zoonotic disease infection, which comes from the animals to human, which cause the illness. Zoonotic diseases have been responsible to some of the deadliest pandemics in the past. But to avoid this, we need to be responsible for human, animals, and ecosystem health, not only ourselves. The thing is, we need to balance the nature world and human one, or not this will become increasingly common. As we all know, people now started to eat animals that's not usually eaten or recommended. For example, bats, turtles, cats, and others. It is very peculiar to think of people eating it. Try to think when people eat those animals. You all must have felt bad. I've seen people doing ASMR and eat those animals. I felt very bad, and other people also comment about it too. Let us relate it with the COVID-19. First of all, we heard that COVID-19 exists due to bats. When people eat animals, we never know what those animals carry inside them. We don't know if it is dangerous or it brings illness. So to prevent this, stop eating animals that are not usually eaten. I prefer to eat chicken meat, beef, or bacon. Those are mostly eaten by people. I'll tell you one of my experience. When I eat one of those meat, I've ever been sick. It's actually because of the cleanliness. Now listen, if those animals that mostly eaten can make us sick, so eating those inedible food can be worse. So don't eat animals that can be considered not edible. Besides of what we can do, the government can also help to take action to prevent future pandemic. First, ban selling wild animals in markets. For example, in China, we need to understand about the transmission of the disease. Keep in mind that disease from animals can be deadly. Besides, it is something illegal to do, right? Second, we need to respond fast when there's this kind of disease. For example, by increasing the supply of health products or make lockdown as fast as possible. Don't take this lightly, but instead, think of this as an urgent problem. Based from my experience during this pandemic, Indonesia is late to do the lockdown. When two people is known to be infected, we can still be free to go anywhere without using the mask. But since coronavirus spread fast, the number of people who got infected increased rapidly. Third, policymakers need to make pandemic response so other countries can help by giving access to medical resources, as not all countries have access to it. If other countries still experience the disease, it can still be spread to others, and the pandemic won't come to an end. Fourth, implement vaccine program. This one is very important. Even though the vaccine for COVID-19 haven't been found, implementing vaccine program is effective to keep down the rates of the disease. Here's the conclusion. First of all, as I said, we could do the social distancing and wear masks. We need to avoid having contact with people, as disease may be spread by respiratory droplets. We should stop eating animals that are considered not edible. Remember that all of us need to work together and help one another. There's a quote by Henry Ford, which is, "Coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success." So let's work together to avoid future pandemics. Remember that nothing is impossible when we work hard for it. Let's change quarantine into quarantine. Thank you.